This is part 163 of ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss dynamically adding tree nodes to tree view control that has 3 or more levels in the hierarchy. This is continuation to part 162, so please watch part 162 from the ASP.NET tutorial before proceeding with this video. The tree view control that we have built in part 162 only work with 2 levels in the hierarchy. If you look at the database table that this tree view control is bound to, it has got 3 levels. Especially notice these 2 rows, 14 and 15. Look at the parent ID, it's number 5, meaning these 2 rows are children of another row within this table which has got an ID of 5. So basically this upload resume has got ID 5, meaning rows 14 and 15 are children of upload resume. But if you look at upload resume within the tree view control, we don't have those 2 rows displayed as children underneath this item here. That's basically because of the way we have written this code in part 162. So let's go ahead and fix this code so that our tree view control is going to work with 3 or more levels in the hierarchy. And in order to achieve that, the first thing that we are going to do is change this variable name right here from tree node to parent tree node. That's basically to make our code more readable. And look at this, as soon as I have changed the variable name, there is a red rectangle underneath the variable name, and if I hover the mouse over, I get an option to change the references of that variable from tree node to parent tree node. So let's select this option, and look at that, all the references are automatically changed without we having to manually do it. And the second thing that we are going to do is get rid of this code right here, and instead we are going to call a recursive function here that we are going to write now. So this recursive function that we are going to write is going to be a private function, and it's not going to return anything, and let's call it getChildRows. And this function is going to take 2 parameters. The first parameter is of type data row, and the second parameter is of type tree node. Let's get the child rows of the passed in data row, and to do that we are going to invoke getChildren function, and to this function we need to pass the name of the relationship. So the name of the relationship is child rows. So let's pass the name of the relationship to this function. So at this point, this function is going to get all the child rows of the passed in data row object, and this function is going to return that child rows as a data row array. So let's create a variable of type data row array, and let's name it child rows. Now we are going to use a for each loop and then loop through each data row that's present in this child rows data array. So for each data row, let's call it child row in child rows array, and within the for each loop let's create a tree node object. Let's call it child tree node equals new tree node, and then let's set the text and navigate URL properties of the tree node object. So text equals child row of, what is the name of the column? The name of the column is treeview text, so let's copy it from here and paste it right here, and let's convert that to string. In a similar fashion, let's also set the navigate URL property of the child tree node object, and the name of the column is navigate URL. And now let's add this child tree node object to the parent tree node that we are going to pass into this function. So tree node dot child nodes dot add, we want to add the child tree node that we have just created. And then the most important thing is, if this child row dot get children, so the name of the relationship is child rows. So if the number of children, if the row that we passed in, this is already a child row, if that child row has got child rows, then the length is going to be greater than 0. In that case, what we are going to do, we are going to call this function again. So we are calling this function recursively. So we are going to call get child rows function, and then to this function we need to pass data row object and tree node object. So which data row object are we going to pass? The child data row. So child row. And which tree node are we going to pass? We are going to pass the child tree node. So we are recursively calling this function. So it's going to look at all the children in the hierarchy and build the tree node objects accordingly. And now we're going to call this function right here. So let's call this function get child rows, and to this function we need to pass two parameters, that is the data row and the tree node object. So we are going to pass the parent first of all level 1 data row and parent tree node. For this changes, let's run this and see if it works as expected. So look at this, for some reason upload resume text is not displayed. That's basically because of the styles that we have set for our tree view control. Let's get rid of these styles and let's run this once more. Look at that. None of the tree node objects are displayed. That I think is basically because we have set forecolor to white, and the background is also white, so nothing is displayed. Let's run it one more time. Look at that. Now employee has got upload resume, edit resume, view resume, and under upload resume we have got its children here. So our tree view control now is working with 3 levels in the database table. Now if you look at this database table here, we actually have 4 levels. Look at this, I have rows 18 and 19. Basically those are children of a row which has got ID of 16 and which has got ID of 16, this row right here. Okay, so AA1, AA2 are children of AA, and in a similar fashion BB1 and BB2 are children of row with ID 17, meaning BB1 and BB2 are children of this row. Okay, right here I have the script. Let's execute the script. So now if you look at our table, we have AA1, AA2. These are children of row which has got ID 14, meaning 16 and 17 are children of row 14. In a similar fashion, 18 and 19 are children of row 15, which is BB1. Now, without making any change to our application code, let's run it once more and see if the children gets displayed properly. Look at that. Under upload resume, we have got AAA, BBB, and under AAA we got AA1, AA2, and under BBB we have got its children. So now our tree view control is working with 3 or more levels in the hierarchy as expected. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.